Hey everyone, Miri here, and I'm doing the second installment of the series that I now call Explain Pieces Redesign, where I present my take on how I would rewrite the Beauty and the War main cast as an attempt to bring the community and possibly their Discord server back to life during the creator's indefinite hiatus. This time, our victim is Chase of the Trold, one of the romanceable options. This one came as a surprise to me, mainly because I was originally intending to redesign Dev, the emotionally neglectful boyfriend with a grim attitude, questionable past, and scandalous decisions. If you know, you know, from Don't Take This Risk. Then, while watching a long play of Neo, The World Ends With You, which I recommend you guys check out since it's a pretty good series, I thought about one of my favorite characters, Daisuke Nojo beat Bito, my fictional son, and it all fell into place. What we know so far about the character is limited, in a similar fashion to Ambrosia, to the ask made by fans to Crown Ruler, also known as Dreamgazer, lead developer and storyteller of Poison Apple Tales, the creator of the game. We've seen him portrayed as this carefree guy with boyish energy to him, adorably socially awkward, and just a sweet guy in general. However, if you piss him off, he's not going to be that nice. And anyone that has reached the point where the player rejects him and he reacts badly agrees with me. Either way, let's get into his personality. To be honest, I don't think I would change that much about him other than his character flaws a bit. I would portray Chase as someone akin to Beat from the original The World Ends With You, and its sequel Neo, and Hermes from the webtoon Lore Olympus. Both characters are similar in their carefree attitudes but different in so many ways. They're fan favorites, and you guys will now see why. First off, Beat. We are spoiling too much about the main plot of the main series. He's one of the sweetest guys you could ever meet. His intelligence is not precisely his strong suit, but he cares a lot about his friends and will go to extreme lengths for them. One could say that, while he definitely wouldn't win a Nobel Prize for scientific achievements, his heart is in the right place. As for Hermes, needless to say that there's more to him than one meets the eye. He's a hardworking god that likes both Persephone, the main character of Lore Olympus, and one of his closest friends, and money. Hermes is capable of befriending pretty much everyone, except for the people that have hurt or intend to hurt those who he cares about the most. He has even mentioned that he wants to give his mother a comfortable life as much as he can, hence why he has become a workaholic of sorts, without losing that carefree attitude that is part of his undeniable charm. The way I see it, these two converge perfectly with Chase. He has mentioned how much he cares about his brothers and sisters, the way he refers to the people from his clan, something I think it's rather sweet and what I've decided to keep. However, my grievance is that he, most of the time, allows his emotions to take over, for better or worse, which goes in contrast with his carefree nature. He shares this with Beat, yes, but I decided to give it a different approach while removing how self-conscious he is about his scars. I picture Chase to be someone who doesn't really give much thought about what others think of him, to the point that it's both a blessing and a curse, since it makes him somewhat unaware of social cues, but not completely. Pretty much like Pete, his intelligence wouldn't be his strongest suit, which would have made him somewhat careless, the main reason why he got the scars on his face, but instead of becoming insecure about him, he would embrace them as a war medal of sorts, a proof that he survived the conflict between the clans. Like Hermes, he will be good at keeping secrets. This brings a contrast to the a himbo with a heart of gold approach, but I wanted to make him deeper than just, oh look, he's the comic relief character, because while it's true that he will keep his sense of humor, Chase will go as far as to jump in front of Ambrosia to protect her if things get dire. My version of him rarely gets mad, but when he does, you better be careful because even the devil himself trembles at the thought of his wrath. He will be an extremely empathic person, making him capable of putting himself in other people's shoes, even if he hadn't gone through the same pains as them. Now, with all being said, what would be the reason why he dislikes Arsenic from the Holder so much? Well, it is known by the fandom that both of their clans were former enemies, which somewhat justifies the grudge both holds against each other. Could this be considered historical hate? Maybe, but let's not open the can of worms with the implications. While a gentleman in social settings and with the woman he loves, Arsenic has shown to be a cold and calculated strategist that will annihilate his opponents during combat, scaring even the fiercest warriors. I wouldn't say that Chase is afraid of him, considering how he got his scars to begin with, but he will be extremely cautious around him. He can't exactly put his finger on it, but something about him just feels off, at least to him. Thus, he will go as far as to tell Ambrosia to be careful not to get too close to Arsenic. In fact, this will be one of the few times that we will see him get out serious. With this out of the way, let's get into his design. I decided to give a little twist to his current outfit. His turtleneck remains the same, but I made it sleeveless so we could see his biceps. Like this, we will be able to take a better look at his scars. And I'm actually really proud of how they look, even though it was my first time drawing them. I basically just freehanded them with the lasso tool and voila! I removed his mask as well, mainly because if you're proud of your many war medals, you gotta flaunt them. As for his hairstyle, I had a lot of fun with it. I basically took Hermes' iconic look, red hair mane, and adapted it to Chase. It was pretty easy actually, since both hairdos merged perfectly with each other. I initially wanted to give him a ponytail similar to the one that Hermes wears in some of the chapters of the webtoon, but I scratched the idea and went with the bandana that both of them have in common. It ended up looking as if he had flames for hair, and I really liked it. Plus, it was the first time that I got out of my comfort zone when it comes to male hair, mainly because I often stick to the classical short hair that many protagonists with the non-freaky hair tend to have. I made it wavier than usual, and it ended up being better than expected. For his skin and hair color, I decided to make them slightly darker so they complemented each other. Now that I think about it, they actually make a nice contrast to the dark gray, black, and dark green of his outfit, which I thought will match with his turtleneck. When it comes to his pants and shoes, I drew inspiration from Dragon Ball Z and The Last Airbender. I figured that, since Chase moves a lot and is really fast, he could use baggy clothing to give him more freedom of movement, as well as the iconic slippers that many monks tend to have in fiction. I'm looking at you, Aang, my precious child. So, this is the final product. I might have said it in my last video, but I'm really happy with how this one turned out as well. Not only I got to play a bit more with the lights and shadows, but also I added some rays to the background and him as well, mainly because I wanted to convey his clan's running abilities in the background, without mentioning that this was the first time I actually toyed around with decorating for a male character, mainly because I tend to draw girls more often. Now, who will be my next victim? Simple, Dev from Don't Take This Risk. A bit different to my correct format, I know, but I have my eye on him after breaking Ambrosia's heart. I figured I could make his betrayal of her make more sense and portray him as a caring boyfriend that is a victim of his own circumstances. But I'll talk about it on the next video. After him, I'm going back to Beauty and the War, and for my second girl in the series, Wildfire. See you guys in the next one!